Hello everyone, so bringing you a video today about the kit and equipment that I used in the World War II short film that I made with my friend Sharm Sundar at Wolfspack Studios. There'll be a link to his channel in the description. If you want to see the short film, I'll put a link to it now in the top corner of this video, so consider going and watching that. I will just let you know before we get into the video that there is a few inaccuracies which I will point out to you. If there's anything I missed, do let me know in the comments. Hopefully in the future I will be able to improve on these inaccuracies. So the first thing is the Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark 1. So this is a foam replica that I made myself because everything that we took for the movie had to go on the plane. So, for example, some of the inaccuracies with the movie, one of the main things being the dinghy that quite a few people have picked up on, that obviously doesn't look like it's from the 1940s and World War II, because there's no way we could have brought a replica like that on the plane with us to Guernsey where we filmed it. So we had to use my grandfather's one that he already had there, that he uses on his boat. So that's the best we could do. So it's the same with the rifle. I had to make this out of foam so it could go through the airport scanners, and it comes apart in two parts because obviously it is too long to fit in a suitcase. So it simply pulls apart at the top like that. Now we've got a tube and a bit of plastic that fits into the front of the rifle here, so it can be taken apart to fit in the suitcase and then reassemble when we are ready for filming. Now you can see there is some wear and tear here. You can start to see the orange foam coming out from underneath where the paint has been worn away just from the filming. At some point I will repaint that. During the filming also the magazine fell off, so I had to make a quick repair with a bit of sort of glue, and you can see that puffed up around the edges just there. Now with this bit, the cocking handle, it does move and it comes back. It's the best I could do. It's quite tricky to work with things quite small. Things like little bits of foam start to come off. But this bit is made with PVC pipe and the rest of it's made with foam. There is some little metal eyelets here, which is for the sling that I'll show you in a minute. Now the trigger is made from a little piece of wood and the PVC pipe for the trigger guard. So it's made from bits of PVC foam and a very small amount of metal. So that's the rifle. This is the sling that I use for my rifle. It's dated 1949, so obviously just after the Second World War, but it is a exact model of what would have been used during the Second World War. Now you can see it's been blancoed what I believe to be probably a pea green colour. So blanco is like a dye that is water based, that is put over the webbing that's generally a khaki colour, so it's not camouflaged for somewhere like Northwest Europe or somewhere like that. During the Second World War, obviously it's a lot more green with fields and shrubbery, so it is blancoed a colour that's more a green colour. This is more of a sort of to the beginning of the Second World War. Now later on in the war I'll show you what colour my webbing is blancoed, which is a darker sort of deeper green colour, and it would have been used later on in the war. Right, so next on from the sling, we'll start from the top. So this is the helmet that I used. This is a Mark II Brody helmet. It is supposed to be an original, however, as you can see on the top there is a screw here. Now on the original helmets this screw was a lot bigger, so it tends to mean that possibly the lining has been replaced, but it's good enough for the purposes that I need. So obviously the chin strap, I'm not sure if this is original. A lot of the originals did have a spring sort of built into the canvas, so it became stretchy. So I'm not sure about the strap. From the inside we got the lining. You can see it's starting to come away a bit and it's starting to flake. We've got the foam on the inside here, so it's all in relatively good condition. And that's what I used for the movie, so quite a standard sort of helmet from eBay, so not that expensive to get. So we'll move on to the battle dress blouse now. So this is the battle dress blouse that I used. This is a 1940 pattern, utilitarian pattern of battle dress. It is a reproduction. and you can tell that this is a 1940 pattern because of the buttons that are on the outside. They are not covered. On the earlier models of the battle dress, it was covered by a strip of material made from the same serge wool fabric as the battle dress that went across the buttons. Same with the pockets, and it covered it up. So the later war versions didn't use the material because they needed to conserve materials to make you more uniforms, as they were starting to run out on materials. Lastly, you can see we've got the insignia on the arm. So we've got the Commando shoulder title, the Combined Operations Commando patch, and a Corporal rank patch below that. It's the same on the other sleeve in the same layout. So now we can move on to the trousers. Now this is one of the inaccuracies with the movie. Now when I bought this is also reproduction trousers. However, they are parachute trousers, so they're not actually the battle dress trousers that go with the blouse, because you can tell this is the parachute variant because it has got a pocket like this. Now on the battle dress 1940 pattern trousers, it is a different shape. The pocket on these ones goes straight across the top. Now the battle dress trousers that would be the correct ones to go with the blouse goes down in a triangular shape, and the button is lower down, and it doesn't have these little pop buttons on either side. Also, when you look inside the pocket, it is lined with a white leather material. So that is to stop water, moisture, and anything like that when you're jumping out of an aircraft, especially if it's bad weather, raining. So that is why that is lined. Now, one thing that could have been improved in the movie is there is actually a specific knife pocket for a commando knife on the right seam of the trouser leg. Now there's a little pop button in there. When you open that, it's a very small pocket. Now I'll show you the commando knife. So this is more of a prop. It's not that well made. I'd made it myself. It was just a quick little thing because it wasn't going to be, it was only the hand was supposed to be poking out. So it doesn't have a case to it, but if you were to put it in the seam, it would sit something like this, and you'd be able to sit it properly inside, and then that would keep it safe, and obviously it would keep it out of the other pocket, which is supposed to be for documents and maps and so forth. So another difference between these trousers and the battle dress trousers is on the back we have two first field dressing pockets instead of the normal back pocket that they used to have on the normal ones. Now, I'm not sure what they put in these. I'm guessing it was more first field dressings, but on the regular ones, the same with these, they only had one at the front, and in that you have a first field dressing, so I'll get that out now. So here we have the first field dressing. You can see it just there. We've got the information on how to use it. So first field dressing, to open contents, out to cover, break thread. So you've got the thread here, you break that and you pull it out, and then there's two. So generally, if you got shot, there will be a entry hole for the wound. So that is what one of the first field dressing bandages would have been used for, and then quite often there'll be an exit wound. So the second bandage is to deal with that other exit wound. So moving on to the ankles, we've got these gaiters. So you can see that this is what the colour of canvas looks like before it's been used with this Blanco dye. Now these should have been dyed with the Blanco, but for some reason or another it hasn't been. These are reproductions along with the rest of my uniform that I wore. Apart from the helmet is supposed to be an original. Now the gaiters is quite simple. They're just a piece of fabric or a bit of canvas that wraps around your ankles and around the bottom of the trouser, and you flare it out around the top, and this stops any dirt or debris or anything like that, sand, getting into the top of the boot, and it just keeps the trousers neat and tight and stops it getting ripped on any foliage or anything like that. And you got two of them, and they've got brass buckles here to secure it, and it just goes round the boot as such. Next thing, this is not something so obvious in the movie because it was worn underneath my battle dress blouse, but it was just a little other detail that I made. So these are homemade, so I didn't buy them, so they're not the best, but they are the identity dog tags that all British soldiers carried in World War II. Very similar to the ones also carried in World War One, which I have an original pair from my great-grandfather that fought in World War One. Now you can see there's 2 discs. Obviously, one disc stays with the casualty if someone, the wearer of the dog tags, is wounded or dies in battle. One set stays with the owner, and the other one is collected to be brought in to notify that that particular individual soldier has been killed in action or wounded. So the next thing that was used was carried in my webbing. Now, it's debatable whether it should have been carried there or should have been carried somewhere else. I didn't have another container or box or carrier to carry the binoculars in. I could have carried it around my neck, but it's where I carried it. It was in the, I believe, the right-hand Bren magazine pouch, which I'll show you in a minute on my webbing. Now, these are just some very old binoculars. These are not necessarily from World War II. I believe, I can't remember where exactly I got them, but they're the closest thing that I could have got to the World War II ones without spending a ton of money, which a lot of them do cost. So nothing much to them, just some very old binoculars. So we'll move on to the next thing now. So this is a toggle rope. It's got a loop and a toggle, and it fits together as such. Now, the commandos and the parachute regiment quite often use these. With multiple people carrying them, they could be linked together to form rope bridges, makeshift grappling hooks to scale cliffs, and anything where they needed like a long piece of rope. Now, this particular toggle rope I made myself with a piece of rope and a bit of an old broom handle that I filed down, made a groove to fit it in, and could be linked together. There's different ways of carrying them. You could wear it around your waist, you could wear it down the side like a seat belt. In the movie, the particular way that I carried it was around my back of my neck, down around my shoulders and secured at the back. The rope tended to be usually 6 feet long, and it was quite a simple bit of kit, but very useful. It could also even be used as a makeshift weapon to strangle guards, or especially by the commandos when they're sneaking about on their operations. So it's quite a versatile piece of kit that they carried. So this is the next and final piece of kit. This is the 1937 pattern webbing. You can see that is what I wore in the movie. This is an original set with a reproduction water bottle. This particular reproduction is from the Soldier of Fortune. You can see we've got 2 Bren pouches at the front. Now, this is a very universal pouch. The general troops and infantry of World War II very much dislike this because the general Lee Enfield cartridges of clips of 5 rounds would quite easily fall out of a pouch like this, especially if it gets undone by accident. But the commandos love this because it could be used to contain extra ammunition, Sten magazines for the Sten submachine gun, grenades, bombs, explosives like for destroying infrastructure, and all manner of different things that could be carried in this. There was specialist kit that only usually commandos would carry, or some special operations organisation like that. So we got another one on the other side. So this is the water bottle. This is the reproduction with a original carrier canvas. So it's got a woolen sheet around it to carry the bottle in. Now the bottle itself is a blue metal bottle with a cork on top. The cork is secured with a piece of string or rope, quite thick, hard wearing cordage, and it's just got a cork with a piece of metal going through it to secure it, and a loop on the other end to attach it. Now these can come out sometimes. If you look closely in the movie, there was a mistake where I didn't realise the cork had actually come out, and I had to put it back in later on. So yeah, that wasn't quite so good. A lot of other bottles in World War II had a screw lid, so the cork method was a little bit outdated, but that's what they had. Now, on other, maybe more infantry soldiers, on their kit would usually have more things on the webbing, such as a bayonet and the bayonet carrier, an entrenching tool, and that was usually what the infantry soldiers would carry. But as this was a commando raid, it was quite minimal what they would carry, just water bottle, ammunition pouches, and that was pretty much it. Now, the last thing I just want to quickly show you is what I used to dye this webbing or blanco it. So I'll show you the bottle that I used. Here we have the blanco bottle. So it's by K Canvas from Soldier of Fortune again. It's KG3 dark green, 1944 to 45. So this was the most common blanco used on the soldiers' webbing around that time period, so sort of from D-Day onwards. This particular version of blanco is a liquid form, so it's not supposed to be what they used to use, because that was in like a sort of a bit like a shoe polish tin with hard blanco, and you had to add water to it to make a paste and use something like a shaving brush to apply it onto the webbing. This one is a more modern version of it, and easier to apply. As you can see, it's in a plastic bottle, and it's in a liquid form, so you might want to dilute it with a bit of water, and it usually takes about 1 to 2 coats over the webbing to blanco it. You can see that I haven't done the back of the straps and only the front, so you can see, and also the different straps, because it's an original, it wasn't necessarily an original set, it was just original pieces of webbing. So there were different colours. This one's a more sandy sort of canvas colour, whereas this one is a darker sort of canvas colour. So to make it all look the same, keep it clean, get rid of stains, you put this blanco dye on the top of the webbing. So that wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed it. So hopefully in the future I'll be joining a reenactment group, so I will be getting more kit and equipment, and hopefully be able to make more accurate videos about the kit, things like that. If there was anything I missed with inaccuracies with it, do let me know in the comments and I'll check that out. Be interested to know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching. Do let me know any recommendations for future videos you might want to see, any uniform bits of kit, and I'll try my best to make that. If you do enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing, and if you like the video, give it a like. And during the Second World War, things had to be